Hello! Welcome back to another segment of EnneaThursday. I'm here again to share a couple interesting things with you. What I have on my heart to share this week is similar to last week. It is about the numbers in those same stances, and this refers specifically to centers of intelligence that are repressed. Now, as I go on, you'll kind of understand more about what that means. Again, my little Enneagram disclaimer: if you know what your number is, awesome. If you're not really sure, listen. Something I say might resonate with you, and if you have no idea, feel free to leave a comment, and I would love to explain or expound upon what I'm saying. So for those of you in the stance with 1, 2, and 6, you are commonly referred to as thinking repressed. That seems really offensive. It doesn't mean that you don't think. That just means that your thinking isn't necessarily productive thinking. You're thinking what could happen, worst case scenario, or maybe for twos, like stuff in relationships, things that are happening between people, things like that. So it's not that you aren't thinking, it's that you're thinking too much about something that may or may not actually be the case. So my encouragement for you is to just stop and actually think about what's going on, okay? What's actually happening. Don't let your thoughts and your out of control thinking control you. Stop and think about what's actually going on right now. For those of you in the stance with 4, 5, and 9, you are commonly referred to as doing repressed, doing or actions repressed. So that also sounds really offensive. That doesn't mean that you're lazy or that you don't do things. That just means that you think about things or feel about things before you actually do anything about it. Or that you see something that needs done and you think about how you're going to do it, or you plan for it, and then there's just something that keeps you from doing it. Or that you do things, but you do them based out of your motivations or your fears, based on your type. It's kind of specific to each number. So my encouragement for you is to, even though you might think about doing something and you don't want to, or you plan for it, or you wonder how you could do something right now with everything going on, make an effort to do a few things. Get into some sort of rhythm or regiment where you're physically doing something, whether it's yoga, whether it's reading a book that you wanted to read, whether it's saying you were going to call dear Aunt Sally and now's the time to do it, so you're actually going to do it instead of putting on a list and forgetting about it. Doing refers to anything, whether it's physical or mental, spiritual, emotional. Do the thing you want to do, and more importantly, make a goal to do it in this time where you might have some extra time to do things. Be intentional about doing things instead of thinking about it. Actions, not words, right? So the last stance, for those of you in the stance with 3, 7, and 8, you are in a stance commonly known as feeling repressed, or emotion repressed. Now that also can feel insensitive or offensive, but all that means is that you are kind of stuffing your emotions. You're choosing not to deal with them right now, or for 7s, you are only want to deal with all the positive, good emotions. You don't want to think about the negative, bad emotions. So my encouragement for you in this time is to tap into your emotions. 7s, tap into the negative emotions. 8s and 3s, connect with those feelings that you just either advertently or inadvertently choose not to deal with. And more importantly, tap into the emotions of others and be sensitive to what they're feeling, what's going on in their life. Because there's a lot of emotions running high right now, a lot of things going on. So just consider what the people around you are feeling and be sensitive to that, instead of thinking, I don't feel anything, or I'm not going to deal with that right now, or everything's fine and perfect. Why would we feel anything sad? Because not everyone around you is feeling the same way. So I hope that encourages you today with a little more insight into the stances. And next week, hopefully, I'd like to start talking about comparing different types and how they seem similar but are actually quite different. So thank you for joining, and have a great Easter weekend.